investment banking, deal making. So far, ours is a high touch business. You can automate certain parts of this profession, right? But you cannot automate, the entire process of investment banking.
Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining today. So, welcome to our investment banking decoded series. And today we are going to have a great interaction on how real transaction happens, what are the insights from the very best industry practitioners. Today we are very delighted to welcome Mr. Gaurav Goyal, Director in Investment Banking in Dexter Capital. In today's conversation, we'll explore his journey, his views on how investment landscape works, and his insights on what's really happening in the ground reality when it comes to deal execution. Welcome, Mr. Goyal.
Hi, Aishwarya.
Hi.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you
having
so
me here.
much.
Good
Yeah,
morning.
thank you so much for joining. Good morning. So, can you please walk us through your journey so far in investment banking and all? How was your journey? What are the key milestones which you have achieved?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Aishwarya. So, Aishwarya, let me do one thing. Let me spend few minutes to talk about my background, how this whole investment banking journey started for me. I think that will be good for the listeners as well.
Yeah.
So, prior to joining Dexter Capital, so I joined Dexter Capital back in September 2014. Prior to joining Dexter Capital, I did my MBA. Right after MBA, instead of going for a usual professional career, I thought, let me take a plunge into entrepreneurship. That's when I took a plunge into entrepreneurship. I started a company called Shop Diaries, which was into your retail space.
Okay.
This was largely catering to your online to offline. We used to onboard multiple these malls, because usually malls did not have the kind of footfall visibility. So we were getting these malls, etc., online, giving them visibility, talk about the brands which are there in the malls, etc. So that's what we did it. I think we were sort of early in our business model. Sometimes you have to be at the right time as well, not just the right place. So I think we were a little early in that way. So did that for roughly around 2.5 years. We raised small capital as well from a bunch of angel investors. Things did not work out the way we had anticipated, so I was there along with three other friends of mine. Four of us started this venture, raised capital. Things didn't work out. Obviously, it was a great learning for all of us, and that's where this realization happened, that how difficult it is for an entrepreneur to raise capital, especially uh, if he or she is a first-time entrepreneur, right? What it takes to kind of raise capital, and what you should be looking at, what you should not be looking at, how you should be structuring the deal, because that obviously sets the precedent for your future rounds as well. So that was also one of the key moments for me to kind of decide to get into investment banking, so that I'll get a first-hand experience of advising entrepreneurs, closely working with entrepreneurs. And then I was doing my CFA as well. That also helped me. Then I joined Dexter. Dexter was started in 2013. I joined Dexter in 2014. So I was, I believe, the second or third guy on board. I was in Pune. Then I joined Dexter in Jaipur, because that's where it's not a very usual place to start an iBank, but that's where Devendra Agarwal, who is the founder of Dexter Capital, he started Dexter back in 2013. I joined him in 2014 in Jaipur, joined as an intern, right? Because I was really, excited and was extremely motivated to get into this investment banking space. And back in those days, obviously, it becomes difficult if you don't come from investment banking background to get into investment banking as a professional career. Devendra was kind enough to give me an opportunity, and that's when I joined him. Given Dexter was in its early formative, I mean, it was started in 2013. I came on board in 2014, so it was kind of very early for Dexter as a company and platform as well. However, from the day one, we decided that, I mean, we'll focus on this entire new age economy, because back in 2010, 12, I think the whole new age economy started taking, good shape. That's when, I mean, if you see Flipkarts of the world, they started in 2008, 9. And that's when we decided to consciously focus on new age economy. And then I was in 7 months of my stint in Jaipur at Dexter. I was moved to Bangalore, because Bangalore was, back then, we did not have any presence. And that's when, they wanted me to kind of move to Bangalore, because this is where the real action was happening. And even today, if you see, this is where the real action is happening in Bangalore, especially when you look at your new age economy, and companies in digital and tech. So this is the main hub. So move to your Bangalore in 2015. Then obviously it's a history. Now it's been roughly around 11 years with Dexter Capital. Obviously, Dexter has also now grown from, say, a few employees to now we are a team of closer to 50 members. We have three offices: Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore. Bangalore being our largest office, because this is our corporate office as well, and this is where we have a sizable team as well. Initially, we were doing a lot of capital raising work, wherein we used to raise VCP capital for companies. Now we have a strong M&A practice as well. We have a strong team of roughly around 12 to 15 members. Just building our M&A practice. Then on the capital raising side, we have a strong practice, a strong team of roughly 20 plus members taking care of VCP activities. Then we have also gotten into investments. 4 5 years back, we thought that we would want to make it a uh, full-blown financial services platform. And so it was a natural extension for us to get into investments as well. We started doing very early stage investments that is happening through our another platform. It's called Dexter Ventures, which is being managed by Anuradha Agrawal, who is also the spouse of Devendra. And then we also started focusing on pre-IPO markets as well, secondary markets as well. So we started our late stage investment practice as well. We have done a bunch of investments in the pre-IPO space. So Exigo, which is an online travel company, we invested in the pre-IPO round for Exigo. Then we invested in your NSC, then a couple of other companies. Then we have done a bunch of investments in your public market as well. On the early stage investments, if you see, we have done Pilgrim, we have done Nick Ice Cream, some of these marquee names. Now, in between, we have our advisory business. So within the advisory business, we have done close to now 90 plus transactions. Focus is completely on new age economy. Companies looking to raise early growth stage capital. So some of the companies you might have also come across, Dihat, which is a leading agri-tech company in India. So far, we would have done multiple rounds of capital for Dihat. Picker, which is a logistic tech company in India. There also we have done a couple of rounds of advisory. So bunch of these companies, and they have done fairly well. So that's where our advisory practice sits in. So we cater from so there is a different platform which caters to 2 mil to 10 mil, and then Dexter comes in, wherein we focus on 10 mil plus 10 mil to $250 million sort of transactions. And this is where we have done most of our transactions.
Great,
So
great.
that's a quick snapshot of Dexter Capital, my journey. Now I am a director. There is a full-blown team. We have now we are trying to institutionalize a lot of things. So we have a dedicated execution team, business development team, PR team, legal team, finance team, right? So the idea is to kind of over time, over the coming years, we make it a full financial services practice.
That's really great. So, you coming from a different background, how hard it was for you to cope up? Of course, as joining as an intern is not a small deal, and especially us joining in a startup. How did you cope up with it? Like as an intern, what all challenges did you face throughout?
That's an interesting question, Aishwarya. So in fact, back in 2014, after entrepreneurial stint of 2.5 years, and prior to that, I had like around 3 years of experience dabbling between your mortgage industry and other aspects of financial services. Definitely, it was not an easy call joining as an intern, but I felt It doesn't matter whether you are an intern or an analyst. What matters is that whether you are getting to pursue what you want to do in life. So I think that was an opportunity for me to get into investment banking, take a plunge into investment banking, learn the tricks of the trade. To say, Devendra was kind enough. He comes from buy side. He was with Olympus. So I think he was able to see the fire and zeal in me. And that's when, in fact, I decided to move from Pune to Jaipur. Again, not a very usual call, you would want to take, but given I was interested and given Devendra is a good mentor, he was able to kind of guide me, support me a lot. I think this helped a lot. And I think for anyone, like whoever is listening to this, I think it's very important that you have a right mentor, right leader and person who could guide you. Because right after 6, 7 months of me joining Dexter, Devendra, took a leap of faith and he decided that, I should be moving to Bangalore to set up our Bangalore practice. So that's where single-handedly I moved to Bangalore, landed here, had no idea what to do, had no place where to stay. So figured out everything. There was no place to work as well, opted for a co-working space, then slowly and gradually started building team as well, slowly and gradually started meeting clients, meeting investors. So that's how it all started. It's just that, I mean, what kept me going is my strong motivation to uh, become a rounded investment banking professional. I think that's where it helped me, and plus whatever mistakes I have done during my entrepreneurship at Shop Diaries. Yeah. So that at
Understood.
least I wanted to ensure that if there's a budding entrepreneur, or even if it's a scaled up company, growth stage companies, they at least don't make these mistakes which might cost them later in the future.
That's really great. To be frank, you had a great journey, if I'm not wrong, coming to Bangalore and all. So now, so AI is in boom, right? So AI is obviously a huge theme right now across the industry. Have you seen practically how is it impacting deal making or clients' expectations?
Uh, so your question, Aishwarya, is more on the deal making side of the business, right? How AI is impacting the deal making and not the businesses in general. Just to
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
understood. So Aishwarya, see, AI is definitely disrupting, or it has disrupted a lot of spaces, especially your SaaS, right?
Yeah.
And it's data is available in the market. People can see what's happening in the Western countries, what's happening in India as well. Uh, with respect to other sectors, and if I especially talk about investment banking, deal making, so far I don't think so, because see, ours is a uh, high touch business. You cannot automate. I mean, you can automate certain parts of this profession, right? But you cannot automate the entire process of investment banking. So just to give you a background, in investment banking, obviously the work starts from you firstly going after a particular sector, then going after a subsector, figuring out the companies also are doing at a certain stage, understanding the business, understanding the financials, right? Then you build relationship with the promoters, you discuss the strategy that you have reached to a particular stage. Now from this particular stage to next stage, either you can grow the way you have grown over the years, but obviously it takes time, or the other way is that either you partner with someone strategic, or you get a financial investor on board, and using that external capital, it helps expedite the process. What you will be able to do on your own in say next 10 years, this external capital might help you achieve that in a shorter period of time. So that's where investment banking comes in. That's the capital raising part of it. Likewise, in M&A as well, obviously, you do have to interact with clients, understand the business, discuss the strategy, future outlook, etc. I think AI can help you in research part of the work.
Mhm.
It can help you populate collaterals. It can support you in your research, and where earlier it used to take long time for teams to kind of understand the particular space, because you had to look at multiple platforms, multiple articles, etc. AI can do that, so it's kind of a good support system that you have in place. But deal making, at least as far as my knowledge goes, it's a relationship based business. Now, I don't know if AI tomorrow becomes that much sophisticated that it is able to replace me and you. I mean, that's a different thing. But otherwise, as long as we have, emotions, we have to have a relationship, understand, I mean, one human being understanding the other human being. I think, AI is still too far from that. Yeah.
From that.
So far, our industry has not been impacted, and even going forward as well, I don't think so, except the research part and the, populating collaterals, etc. That's fine. I mean, but I mean, the deal making is not just about research and the collaterals. It's much, much, much more than that, actually. It's a people business.
True. Thank you so much. So, could you please help me, or can you please share some of your successful deals and what made it very special for you as a director of Dexter?
Understood. Yeah. So there are multiple deals, and see, I'll tell you, Aishwarya, what happens in a deal making. Every deal is different from the other deal. Even if you have spent, say, 20 years in this, industry profession, it will definitely happen. The next deal that you'll be working on will have different nuances, actually. So every deal is different, but just to talk about, a couple of specific deals and how these deals are sort of, were interesting, and how did we, as a Dexter, help our clients, etc. So it was around 2022, 2023. There was I will not name the company for obvious reasons, but I'll give you the complete background and the nuances as well.
Yeah.
So this was into e-com logistics. So the company is one of the pioneers in your e-com logistics space. Started back in 2015, 16. Uh, During initial years till 2020, it has, it had, I mean, it had business, but it was kind of, more or less sort of flat. Then back in 2020, Dexter came on board. We When we came on board, the company was still, sort of small, and just had raised angel capital. There was no institutional capital available. At the same time, back in 2020 as well, if you see, we had 2020, yeah, 2020, we had well-funded players in your, and some of these players are listed today in the market. We had well-funded players in the e-com logistics space, again, I'm saying.
Okay.
So this player is an aggregator, wherein it used to aggregate different third-party logistics, and on the other side, it was dealing with all your small new age businesses to mid-scale businesses to provide them logistics, right? Logistics support, where I say that every consumer company for that matter has to send, goods from one place to the another place. Now, how do you do it? Either you directly partner with a third-party logistic company, or you partner with an aggregator wherein you have an option to kind of, pick and choose, based on the serviceability, based on the pricing, etc. That's where this company came in. We came on board Dexter. I mean, see, idea for us is that, Aishwarya, whenever our deal making style is different, when we come on board, we don't just start directly marketing the deal, right? We sit with the founders, understand the business, understand the space, figure out how do we want to position the company. So rather than spending time marketing the deal, we would rather spend time before marketing the deal, understanding the business, understanding the space, figuring out, how do we want to position the company, who are the right partners for the company, who has the background, within that same space. So that goes behind the whole deal making. So in this logistics company as well, that's what we did. We started marketing the deal. Initially had lukewarm response because we already had well-funded players, though this company was incorporated in 2015, 16, around that time. But still, I mean, growth was not that great. But we were able to kind of pen down on one investor who was interested to, join the company and, invest around a few $1 million. Uh, then after increasing the reach of our investor base, we were able to convince and get one more investor. So we had two institutional investors. In this process, what happened is that company was able to discover the right price as well, because that discovering of the right price for your asset is also very important. So when two institutional guys come together, then you are able to figure out the right price. So we kind of figured out the right price for the asset, for the scale the company was at. Ended up closing the deal with these two investors. Within 12 months of closing this transaction, we closed another transaction for the same company, and this time we ended up raising upwards of 10 mil. We were able to get three high quality P funds to invest in the company, because company was able to grow very fast within that period. From closing the first round to the second round, it was able to leverage on the platform that it built. It was able to leverage on the database it had. And plus, given the team is kind of very strong, it's founded by good set of guys, we were able to close the second round as well. And after closing the second round, in next 12 to 15 months, company got acquired by a much larger player. So this all happened within, say, a period of 24 to 30 months, wherein the company and the promoters saw 20x jump in the valuation.
Okay, that's a really great, deal closure. So, going through this, short period of raising funds and doing everything, the workflow must be, as a part of being a very recent team and, guiding them. Could you please help us to understand how Tracxn was able to help you in it? Like, how did you incorporate it into your workflow on a regular basis?
See, we have been using Tracxn for a long time now. Right. In fact, Devendra would know Abhishek personally as well, right? And in fact, this relationship with Tracxn goes long back before you guys going public as well, right? So definitely Tracxn as a platform and as a tool, it always helps us a lot, because for public companies, if you see, Ashwarya, you have multiple platforms. In fact, public companies have to publish their data on a quarterly basis. So as such, it's not a fight when you want to look for the information for public companies. But when it comes to private companies are not required to put their data out on a quarterly manner, or they do it, I mean, once in a year when the audited reports are there, they put it forward. So that's where I think Tracxn as a platform, it helps a lot, because it has though there are multiple platforms, but you would always want to look at credible data, because everyone is able to capture info. But what is important is that credibility of, I mean, that whether you can rely on that data or not. I think that's where Tracxn helps us a lot, because we know that the way your system works and the data, etc., that you guys have, it's kind of it's sourced from relevant and the credible sources, so we can rely on that data, and it gives a very good visibility, not just on the financials of the company. Even if you want to look at the players, competitors in that particular space, we can look at the competitor as well. You guys have a beautiful tech platform wherein we can slice and dice the data. We can do, we can put filters and then look at sectors, subsectors. Within that, we are able to identify the right sort of companies that we are looking at. And you guys also publish reports as well on particular sectors as well. So I think that also helps. So I think we use your platform quite actively, even in our day-to-day work.
Got it. So thank you so much for sharing your insight about Tracxn. So final question. Finally, for professionals who are looking to build a career in investment banking, what is your advice, or what do you think that it would help them or help them to grow in their journey in investment banking?
Uh, well, Aishwarya, see, IB as a profession, it looks, it sounds very good from whoever is especially your young folks who would want to get into this profession. They they get excited when they see someone on the other side, but grass is always greener on the other side, I'll put it that way, right? So once you become part of this profession, though it's definitely, it's a rewarding career. It's not just, it's a demanding career when it comes to time, etc. It's a rewarding career at the same time. So someone who is looking to get into or would want to become a IB professional, I suggest, uh, obviously you have to have a financial knowledge of finance. That helps a lot. Having said that, it doesn't mean if you don't come from a finance background you are not able to make your career. There are professional courses like CFA, FRM, right? In fact, CAs, a lot of CAs you would find working as a in IB firms as well. So someone who is looking to make the career, firstly, you need to have you should be a people person, right? If you are not a people person, forget about finance, forget about your understanding of the sectors, subsectors, business. If you are not a people person, it will be difficult to kind of become sort of reach to a certain level, because that's where IB, as I mentioned, IB is a very high touch business. So if you're a people person, that's the first criteria. Secondly, obviously your finance knowledge, which even if you come from an engineering background or some other background, if you are keen on learning finance, then there are multiple professional courses you can opt for. It you can learn. It will help you, because in the end what you're doing is that you will be looking at numbers. You have to analyze data and then make sense out of it. uh, Thirdly, I suggest, given in our business, you interact with a lot of global players as well, right? So definitely your communication also helps, because obviously, not just folks in India, but outside India also you'll be interacting. So that's where your communication matters, because sometimes you need to, unless you are able to articulate things properly, it becomes difficult to kind of convey your message. And last and a very important thing, that you need to have fire in your belly to do if you want to make your career in IB. As long as you have that passion, you're motivated enough to make your career, you have that hunger, I think rest everything can be taken care of, as long as you have that fire in you.
That's really great. Thank you so much, Gaurav, for joining today. We are very glad that we had you here. A great level of information we got from you. Thank you so much, and we hope we will be always, as you told that you were using Tracxn from years back, and we expect the same in the forward year.
Lovely interacting with you, Ashwarya.
Bye bye.